I'm Tania Rogers, and you're listening to Mindful Hustler, the podcast helping entrepreneurs get out of their heads and onto building their dreams. Together, we're building businesses while balancing minds. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mindful Hustler, where we have real, unfiltered conversations with heart-led entrepreneurs about the mental gymnastics behind building a business and becoming the CEO of your life. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with none other than Shantise, a celebrity hairstylist and CEO who started working from her aunt's hair salon and now building her own hair empire. Shantise, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy that you're here. Shantise just recently started doing my hair, so I'm a new client. And immediately when I sat down in her chair, I could feel the hustler spirit. When she's doing my hair, I see people coming in and out, buying wigs and hair units and the hair oils that you make. And I knew immediately I wanted to talk to you. So I'm so excited for this conversation.
Me too, me too.
So let's start from the early days. Were you always like that? Like, where did the hustler spirit come from? Were you like that as a child?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it comes from, it stems from our parents. My mom was always a hustler, always having more than one job, and I see how hard she worked, and she always instilled in me to be independent, and I have to, you know, rely on other people for anything to make sure you go get it on your own. So it was like, I definitely got that from my mom.
And so when did you fall in love with hair? Take us back to the early years of your career.
I want to say I fell in love with hair right after college, which is crazy because I've been doing hair my entire life. It started with doing my own hair because, as you know, I don't even like getting my hair done now. So it was like, if I can do it real quick, then I don't have to spend hours and hours in the salon. So I started, laying my own relaxers, which is crazy because I'm doing this at like 9, 10 years old. And, this is something that professionals are only supposed to use. So yeah, I started on doing my hair. I started doing my own relaxers, gelled up my own ponytails. And it was like, if I can do it, by all means. Started doing my own braids, and then it transferred on me to doing my friend's hair. So it was just like, okay, well, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Of course, you didn't like look at it in the money aspect, but it was like, okay, well, if you give me $5, I can do it. We can go to the store, things of that nature. The love and passion didn't come until after college because my great grandmother said to me, was like, you still want to do hair? You still want to open your own salon? And I'm like, you remember that conversation from when I was like 5 years old? It's crazy. So after I graduated college, the very next day I went to enroll into hair school.
Wow. So at
Yeah.
5 years old, you knew that you liked hair.
Right. From like, I guess the Barbie dolls. Of course, I don't remember that far back, but I guess I always asked for Barbie dolls and would cut their hair up, and the little mannequins. Like I remember having a Bratz doll mannequin that we could like sit on a table and do their hair, stuff like that. So
I always try to pay attention to my daughter now. She's almost 3. And the things that she gravitates towards, my husband and I, we try to foster it because I think so many of us grew up in households where we had expectations placed upon us based on what our parents wanted for us or other people. And so we naturally lead children away from their passions. So I love that you knew at such an early age and your grandmother reminded you of what you love to do.
Right. Yeah. And even at times I kind of like mess with my mom and say, like, why would you let me go to college when you know that hair was my thing? And it was just like, you kind of forgot about it. So I kind of forgot about it. But I always mess with her. I'm like, even with making wigs on a sewing machine, I taught myself how to use a sewing machine when I was yay high because I asked for a sewing machine for Christmas. And they're like, well, what kid wants a sewing machine for Christmas? And my mom's like, I wish that I would have paid more attention to the fact that like you were creative with these types of things, because I'm like, I could have been a seamstress. The fact that I taught myself how to use the sewing machine was like, all right, Ma, you should have been paying more attention. But it was just that I was also into sports. I played sports my entire life. So that was more so her focus rather than the stuff that really made me like engage. Of course, you're going to engage in sports, but stuff like, hey, I taught myself how to use a sewing machine and I'm using it now to create wigs still in the hair industry.
Wow. Yeah, that's
When your
amazing.
kids definitely show an interest in something, like my goddaughter right now, everybody in the suite knows her, of course, from like baby, maybe fresh out the womb. But she comes in, she'll ask, "Oh, can I do it?" The girl in our suite that does lashes, like she knows how to put the tape on us. Like it's so crazy watching her. And I be telling her mom, I'm like, if this is her interest, do not stop it. Don't talk about nothing but it. But you can see like what 3-year-old knows how to, oh, that's her curling iron. Like it's there. So definitely when your
Wow. She's
kids is
3.
showing the interest in something, yes.
Wow. Yes, I couldn't agree more. My daughter, her thing is singing. And I think it could be
Mhm.
easily overlooked because so many kids love music. You know, they sing like the nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And so it started off with her singing that. But then we noticed that she would pick up on just R&B lyrics. And she wasn't even really saying full sentences, but she was singing like Money Long Made for Me. And we would turn around the back of the car like, what is she singing? And she loves it. It's like
Right.
that's her love language. Like she lives and breathes music. So we foster it at home. We try to,
The
encourage
next
it.
Beyonce.
Yeah, that's it. That's what my mom says to her. So, okay, so after school, you went to cosmetology school. And then I remember you telling me that you
Mhm.
started working in your aunt's hair salon. What was that like for you?
Breeze. So I was her personal assistant. So not only did I handle her like operations in the salon, it was just like, oh, okay, well, if I had to go get some chips, it was just like, okay. But because it was somebody that's family, it just felt like the natural thing to do. But even before thinking about cosmetology school again, I used to go work in her salon during college, summer breaks, winter breaks, all breaks. And sometimes when I came home for the weekend, I would go, make a quick buck. So it was just like, it came natural. And because the salon was so family oriented, it was just like, I'm at work, but it doesn't feel like I'm at work. So, like, that's why it was such a breeze.
What was it like going from working in her salon and really almost like an apprenticeship to now running your own? What were like the mental shifts that you had to make? Because I know for me, going from an employee to now running my business, it's a big shift. So what was it like for you?
Yes. It was very, very hard because of the family aspect that we have. They shaped my career. COVID was definitely a gift and a curse. Because I left my family, that was a curse, but the gift came because I found this independency in my own craft. So it was like, when I realized that, hey, I like being alone or I like being with someone who is my age that's doing the same thing who I feel like I could learn from, is my sweet mate now. I think I want to do this. But it was also like, oh my God, I'm really doing this. So it was to have the conversation with her to say, hey, I'm going to step away. It was like gut wrenching, like tears were forming. And it was just like, she just wasn't ready to let me go. We still talk about it to this day when she says, like, I always thought that I would be helping you cut the ribbon in your own salon. But I'm just like, times are different now. Like, you can help me cut the ribbon in my suite. I'm like, it's different. But I am definitely glad that I took the risk because I'm not really a risk taker. It's like something drastic has to happen for me to be like, okay, I'm jumping ship. But like I would say like that was like the most like risk taking thing I've ever done.
So what was it about that moment that made you want to take that risk? Was it COVID? Like why did you want to start your own salon?
It was COVID and honestly, I was going through a very, very, very bad heartbreak at the time. So it was like the type of person that I am, I don't really know how to deal with problems. I kind of distance myself until it gets better. So it was like, and all of us being one big family and still having to see the guy because we're one big family was like, out of sight, out of mind. That's how I kind of operate. So it was like, all right, okay, enough is enough. That was like, I want to say maybe like 60% of the reason why I was like, I am doing this. I have to get away.
Understood. So, yeah, so you needed your own space mentally, physically, professionally. It just sounded like a really pivotal moment for you, and you
Yes.
decided to take that leap.
Right. And I like, we're good friends now, but of course we were when it was happening. But that moment, that dealing with that heartbreak and going forward with, dealing with more heartbreak, it's like every time something happens, I always say to my friends, every time something my heart get broken or my feelings get hurt, I take it out on my business. This I use that hurt and that opportunity to focus on my business. And every time it happens, it's like another goal reached.
That's interesting. I feel like a lot of artists work that way, like
Yeah.
really using your pain and turning it into your passion. Yeah, isn't it funny how something that hurt you so badly, you could really use like alchemy to just change your life really with it if you want to.
Right. I mean, I still joke with him to this day about it. Like, you broke my heart, but I'm doing very, very, very good for myself. So thank you.
You draked him. That's what I like to call it.
Right.
So now, what were some things that you had to unlearn? I know it was probably really comfortable for you being in your aunt's salon. Like you said, it was a big family and probably like a security blanket for you. But being on your own and ripping the Band-Aid off, what are some things you had to unlearn now being your own boss?
Things that I had to unlearn was I had to unlearn the traditional salon way of doing things. The salon was fast paced. It was, clients walk in every 20, 30 minutes. We hop right on it. Everybody get under the dryer. I had to unlearn the fast pace because like, I'm appointment based. So I take appointments every 2 hours or every 2.5 hours or 3 hours or so, and it's more calm. So I definitely had to unlearn the traditional way of the like the salon settings to be able to run my suite how it is.
Yeah, so you wanted to do things your way. You wanted to create
Right.
a different method than what you were used to.
Right. And I know like people like stylists now used to not now. Stylists back then used to get so much mouth about, having a packed salon, but it was just like because of the opportunities of having an assistant and other things, we were able to do that. Whereas now, like even the whole squeezing thing, like I'm only one person. There's no way I can squeeze you in. I can either take you before my scheduled clients or I can take you after, or I can't take you at all. But I can't, I'm not octopus. I always say that all the time. And they'll laugh like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. It's like, I have to explain that to them. Like, there's no way I can take you.
So do you think that you would ever expand and have help in your, because right now you have a suite, right? There's a bunch of you guys running one suite together. Do you think that you would ever expand your
Right.
personal salon?
Always think about the next step. And because salon suites are more of the thing now rather than a traditional salon, I'm going to say no for the moment because everybody's so used to their personal space. So that if I was to go open this grand old salon, it'll be like, okay, who's going to come do a booth rental or who's going to, want to be in this open space and share their certain things with stylists that, I have this privacy that I don't have to share. Like even
Mhm.
just the simple someone watching you do a sew in, you can pick up on certain things. In a salon, in a salon suite, you feel like, okay, I can keep my secrets to myself. So I if I were to go the traditional route of opening up a salon, it would have to be like a suite incorporated type thing. Like I'll have a big old space, but then have walls up so that if need be, you can have the privacy, but you also have the you can walk out and see your fellow
Your
stylists.
neighbor.
How I would incorporate it, I have no idea. But to say like, hey, I'm going to open up a shop and think that it's going to run successful because I could just grab stylists is not the same how it was back then.
And for those of us who don't know what a suite salon is, could you explain it? What type of services are in your suite right now?
So we have 5 girls. We have a makeup artist, we have a lash tech, and then we have 3 hairstylists. Two of the hairstylists are just extensions based, and we have one who deals with natural hair care as well. But we all have our own individual room, and then we have a common area where our dryers and our shampoo and a waiting area is. So say someone is too loud, we have the opportunity to close our door. So as opposed to a traditional salon, everything is just out in the open.
So you really have the best of both worlds. You have community with people that you love, and then go behind your closed door when you want your own privacy.
Right.
And you guys have really like your own ecosystem. So not only can you get your hair done by you, you could go across the hall, get your lashes done, you can get your makeup done. You can get everything done if you're going to a date
Right.
or a prom or a photo shoot or something, just all in one service.
Right. And we share clients all the time. It's like, hey, if I can't do you today, let me see if my co-stylist can do you. And 9 times out of 10, like it works. And they're gonna trust because I'm their stylist, they're gonna trust my word in my opinion, like, hey, go to this person. I wouldn't steer you wrong.
Now, can you take me back to when you first made the leap? What was it like for you in terms of like inventory and financial commitment for anyone who's looking to start their own sweet salon? What was that process like for you?
So the inventory part is actually fairly new for me. When I first made the transition into going to the sweet salon, even a traditional salon, it just was like basically service based. I didn't realize that I wanted to sell retail like hair extensions and wigs until like maybe 2 3 years ago. So any advice? It's kind of hard for us to separate our business from our personal. I would definitely suggest a business account so that you can actually see the money that you're getting. If you can pay yourself, whether you're paying yourself weekly, bi-weekly, or whatever, just so that you can have that natural job feel. Always pour it back into your business. Always invest in your business because if you don't, then who will? Of course, we can go to the banks to try to get loans, but because we're self-employed, the paperwork and the work that we have to do to be able to secure a financial loan to help with inventory, we don't have the same options, or like, they feel like we're more of a liability because of how we operate our business. I would say definitely financial wise, just try to make sure you always invest back into your business.
Mhm. And so now, with making wigs, how did you learn that process? I know you learned to sew and you did that. How did you learn the rest? Like finding like a manufacturer, or I mean, do you have a manufacturer? What is that process like?
The crazy part is I was making wigs by hand, and we are like, I'm quick with my hands. So it was like, all right, maybe 45 minutes to make a wig. And then one day I come across someone on Instagram, and I'm like, is that a sewing machine? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so smart. And I'm like, I have a sewing machine. I know how to use my sewing machine, so I'm going to try it. And I want to say for like the first year or two, like my wigs were like horrible. But it was just like I didn't have the money to take this class because again, I'm still trying to build a clientele. I'm still working under my aunt. I'm like, my clientele is not that big to where I could say, hey, I'm going to take this $2,000 and invest in taking this class to learn how to make a wig. Because back then, $2,000 to invest in a class is like,
Mhm.
and not that I was too prideful, but it was just like I didn't want to ask my mother for help. It's like because back then our parents didn't really understand that hair is actually doing a job. So it was just like I had to show her, like, So learning how to make a wig, even now to this day, it's like sometimes I would be like, oh my God, if I tweak this little thing, then it's gonna make it so much easier. So like I always say, like, practice makes perfect. You want to always learn something new. Just keep perfecting, keep perfecting, keep perfecting. Like I feel like I learned something new in every wig that I made.
Yeah, I always say that, at least for me, the biggest game changer was knowing you have to just do it sloppy. Like, do it anyway. I shouldn't say sloppy, but do it,
Right.
take imperfect action. That's what I'm trying to say. Because
Okay.
you don't have to know all the steps, but you take action and
Right.
you learn along the way. So build the plane as you fly it.
Right. And I started off making wigs like in my bedroom. Like I would have one of the collapsible chairs, and I had carpet in my room. So the hair was just all in the carpet. It was just like, but I was just so determined. I'm like, I have to get this. I have to get this. Even now that I have like this huge machine, which allows me to make a wig in 7 to 10 minutes, like it's like, quadrupling the income. It's like now it's just like I'm still learning. And I actually love that. It's like, especially watching other people on Instagram, it's like I'll slow down the video and be like, oh, I caught that. Okay, I'm gonna try that.
What's the best place you feel like you learn the most from? I love YouTube University. That's like my go-to. But where do you like to learn?
TikTok. And I'm only gonna say TikTok because I don't know if I'm an impatient learner, but I get to the point. I feel like YouTube is so long and drawn out. It's like I'll watch a video for 45 minutes and then it's like I have to watch the entire video and then the point is right at the end and it's like, okay, I could have just went right to the end. Whereas TikTok is right to the point. So I learned the most from TikTok and I love
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, just knowing you for the time that I have in this short while, I could tell you're so confident. And I think for me sometimes I it takes me a little bit longer to make moves. My husband doesn't think so. He thinks that I'm reckless and that I just like whatever I think I just do. But that's only because those are the shots that he sees me take. But most of the time, I'm like in my head about things, and it takes me a little while to act. So I do like long form video because I kind of feel like insecure sometimes where I'm like, okay, let me just get every little bit of detail. But when you're confident and you know your craft, all you need is like that bit, and you're like, got it. So I find that really cool.
Even when like my friends will tell you all the time, like I'll take a class in a heartbeat. If it's something that I feel like I don't know, I will spend thousands of dollars to take a class. And then after the class, they're like, well, did you learn anything? And I'm like, no, but I just needed to watch her do it.
Yes.
And they look like, okay, no more classes. But it's just like I say I'm a quick learner. Sometimes I just feel like I could just walk in a class and I just show me one thing and I promise you I'm gonna pick up on it. I just need to see somebody do it. You don't even have to, you can literally work and not say a word. And if I'm watching you, I'm like, oh, that was it. Okay. And then I'm always mad because 9 times out of 10, it's something that I know already learned in hair school. It's just that it's not, clicking to me like, girl, you learned this in chapter 3 already. Like, but to see
Mhm.
someone else do it, it's like, oh, okay. Cool.
That's why I'm such a big believer in building the plane as you fly and not having this perfect polished product or thing before you put it out there. A part of me starting the podcast was that too, because, I'm still learning and my stuff is not even close to perfect. But I noticed a lot of my friends who have been thinking about either starting a podcast or doing something with a brand, now that they see me do it, they're like, oh my gosh, it's that simple. Like I could just do this and do that. And I'm like, yes, like I have
Right.
to just share what I know and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I have to get over my perfectionism and inspire people exactly where I'm at. And it sounds like that's what you do too.
Yeah. Well, even when my friends joke about like, like my sweet mate, she always say like you're my sensei. And it's like, girl, like how when I learned so much from you. Like, yeah, I might be, doing other things, but I feel like a lot of my foundation come from watching you do something. And I love learning from people. Like
Yes.
it could be something like they don't even know that they're teaching me and I'd be like, I'm gonna apply that next time. She'd be like, you're my sensei. I'm like, girl, you have no idea what you are to me.
Exactly. I really believe in divine exchange. It's like our gifts are not meant for us. You're supposed to share it. And in return, someone else gives you their gift and they don't even know that they're giving it.
Right.
Sometimes it comes in the form of a conversation. So sometimes you don't even know the impact. You'll never know how much impact you have on other people's lives by just simply being yourself.
Right, right.
So, any mental hurdles that you feel like you experience now as a CEO and a businesswoman, imposter syndrome, fear, perfectionism, any of it?
People tend to forget at the end of the day, I am human. At the end of the day, I want to be respected. Like I want the same energy that you want to receive from me. And at times when I don't get that, it's just like, it's very frustrating that I have to remain professional and you get to remain unprofessional. That's like the hardest thing with becoming and maintaining a business is always like remain a professional, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just be wanting to curse people out, right? That's
Yes.
what you saying.
I mean, and not like, like verbiage wise. It's just like, I be like, something happens, like, just a simple question could kind of like tick me off because I pay money monthly for my website. I pay a yearly subscription for my booking site. And it's just like at times I even have to go on the website or the booking site just to make sure that, yeah, that information is up there. So I took time to produce this information for you, but you would rather hit me up and, wait for however long for me to reply because, hey, I work with my hands, so I'm not in my phone all day, instead of just going to read the information that's accessible for you. I literally put this information for you. So I've come to a point where it's like, if I know that this information is on my website or on my booking site, I'm not answering a message. Just so that I can keep peace within myself. Because there's no way that I'm supposed to be this frustrated with just a question, but I do. And the way that I want to respond is like, girl, did you not see it on the website? And I can't, especially if it's a new client, because they don't know my tone, they don't know my voice, my delivery, anything. So it's just like how I'm saying it, even if I'm saying it in a sarcastic, friendly way, it's still unprofessional to say it. Like my returning clients or my loyal clients that I've had for years, I talk to them in that tone, but they know me. It's still kind of unprofessional, but it's like, your clients, you get to kind of have a little leeway with them. With new clients, you have to just remain like 10 toes on professionalism, and that is frustrating.
I could tell you're authentic. It's like you wear your personality on your sleeve. Who you are is who you are, and I bet you that's what clients love the most about you.
It's crazy because like, remember I was telling you that I don't really talk to my clients. I like to get the work done or whatever. And I tell my clients all the time, like, well, you can sit off to the side while our next client is here, but not too long because I'm not going to let nobody else sit in your session. Like, I text my clients all the time. Sometimes my clients call me and we bug it out on the phone, but it's just like, in this setting, I am here to do a job, provide your service. And, of course, us girls, we don't know how to not talk without doing this. Hey, I'm on your head. I need you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like you. I love a good just headphone, and I get a lot of work done when I'm in the chair.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm good to just zone out. But it's nice when your hairstylist like knows, you. So it's like you can talk or you can't or you don't have to talk.
Right.
Like you do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could go back to the version of yourself who was scared to take the first step, what would you say to her?
Jump off that cliff, girl. Always like, how sometimes like you'll come across the girls on Instagram who's like, oh, I'm a 21-year-old business. It's my first salon that I'm opening or my first salon chain. I be saying it's like, like I would be so much further in my career had I not did, you know, my path was different. If I would have just like, went to hair school straight out of high school, I feel like I would be so much further in my career. But then sometimes I have to be like, no, I'm very grateful of my path that I went. My last trimester. Whoa. My last semester. Oh.
Foreshadowing?
My last semester of college, like I begged and pleaded and cried and told my mom, like, please, I don't want to go back. And she's like, you're here. And I'm just like, I'm very thankful for my friends that I have met along the way, but I feel like that's the only thing I pulled from college. Like, and I still have those friends till today, like all in the group chat and, friends that I've met through them, like great friends. But I feel like college was a big, like, waste of my time. So, but I am grateful for that path because it made me focus more on who I am today.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Hmm.
What does hustle mindfully mean to you?
Wake up and go get it. That's really what it means to me. Like, even like you think about Hustler, like the movies, and you see how like things go. It's just like you have to just wake up and go get it. Nothing is going to be handed to you. If you want it, it will come to you. And it's not so much of like something that's hard to do. If it's like in you, it's going to come regardless, whether it's like, 2 years from now or 2 days from now. If you have that hustle mindset, it's gonna come regardless. So I always say like Wake up and go get it. Don't stop. Go full force. It's gonna come. Wake up and go get it.
I love that. I love how you say if it's in you, it'll come. Because for
Right.
me, hustle mindfully means hustle will be intentional. So if you know what you're after and you're intentional, it doesn't feel like such an uphill battle. Like you'll have your hardship, obviously. Every entrepreneur does. It's just a
Right.
part of the territory. But if you're intentional and you know that it's authentically on your spirit, it'll come as long as
Right.
you hustle for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank you, girl.
and though,
Hmm.
when you're making certain moves, make those moves with a pure heart. Because of course, like you can always do things maliciously and you may feel like it's working, but it will like crumble. Always move with a pure heart. Add that too. We're gonna add that too.
Yes, yes, I love that. Thank you, girl. You're so easy
You're
to talk to,
welcome. I
and
know
I'm
we be
so
chatting it up.
yes, yeah, I'm so appreciative of your time. I know you're very busy, so I want to thank you again for coming on and blessing us with your insight. And I'll be seeing you soon. You'll be down
Right.
here soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening. If you like this episode and you don't want to miss another, make sure you subscribe. See you next time.